put the volume down and up. Hi Facebook. Good evening everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Anu Pale, Let's Talk. Tonight I'm still your host, Maggie. I'm still not formal, I'm so sorry. I am here with Matt the Genius. Is that what you put on your Facebook?
Yeah, that's what I put.
Matthew Gene.
Matthew Gene. I put Genius because it was a gifted name to me. It was a gift from a friend of mine.
Okay.
He called me Genius one time, and I'm like, Matt
Sounds
Genius.
good.
Yeah, you know.
So Matt is a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Yes.
And we are going to be debating some heavy but must be discussed topic tonight. While you're here, we're asking you to give us 2 minutes while we do our things on the phone. Matt gotta invite his friends, I have to invite my friends, and we are going to make it like a live conversations. So stay put, we'll listen to some music for just 2 minutes and we'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us.
Like bright.
All right. We'll take some music, DJ. So basically, when I take this 2 minutes break,
You go to the live feed and you start.
is the DJ really playing this, man?
It's good.
You think so?
I like it.
Oh, DJ. Alright, so I do have different pages that I go on.
Oh, I can share it too. I can share it to my pages. No, I can invite people.
Yep. DJ, you can play some more. Oh my god, you're killing me here. You're classical, man, aren't you?
This is good. I like this.
So within 2 minutes, I should be.
Okay.
I'll share it and try to invite as many people as possible.
I should have it back. There we go. That works better. Get more light on this side of my face. Let me see. Share to group.
You can.
No, I'm looking not a group. I'm going to share on my page. Share. I can copy the link. Okay, let me go to.
We are warming up for you guys. Don't go anywhere. We are coming to talk about some serious stuff. We're just doing some posting, some sharing, because there's a lot of people that want to hear what we have to say tonight, and there's a lot of pages. We do have a live radio station, Plaisir 609, who also is an online radio station. That there's people in Haiti watching this. Tout moun Haiti yo. N'a pas un pile anglais Aswè, seulement pas oublier nous. N'importe côté moi il facile pour monter un ballon ti créole. Aswè, sujet Aswè, c'est que n'a parlé de on madame ou bien on mari qui fait pas chat dans relation dans mariage. Non, est-ce que ça son mariage que ou capable travail sous lui pour pas craser. Mathieu Jean c'est un thérapeute qui travaille avec mon famille. Famille qui a des problèmes dans le mariage, famille qui a n'importe problème familial, c'est ça le fait. Il fait thérapie pour le parler avec eux, pour voir comment il est capable de gérer la situation. So tonight, si vous ne pas pile créole, tant pis, s'il vous plaît, pas tout, non, c'est le chocolat, vous comprenez, c'est le chocolat, zin a pété, et puis gros créole est sorti. Moi-même, moi, qui ai gagné 2-3 bagages pour nous casser, comprendre, mais suivre la conversation, et puis you guys will be okay. As far as Matt is concerned, it will be mostly an English conversation tonight.
Yeah, ma pensée fait un petit créole tout.
What for créole
Ma
too?
fait 20%.
20% créole?
20% créole.
So mon Haiti, you parle avec nous. Share with your friends. Share the live for us. Please share the live. Post it. Put the link on your page, and invite people to come in and let's have this important discussion tonight. We really need your help. Share the page. I will not start until I see some sharing going on. You guys are popping on one by one, but please share the page for us.
It's being shared. I see the numbers.
Some sharing is happening.
Some sharing is happening.
All right, hold on, and I have 1 more minute.
And you hate me, that's okay.
karaoke song. We'll do it. Karaoke, you know, famous.
Break up to make up, that's all we do. Never should love me.
You can go as many as you want.
That's okay.
Alright guys, you guys are coming on. I cannot keep you holding any longer. I'm going to try to use my memory for some of the questions. I think I have about 6 questions that came to my inbox for Matt tonight. Once again, Matt, describe who you are. Tell them a little bit about what you do and why you're here tonight. By the way, thank you so much for saying yes to this invitation. It means a lot to me.
You're welcome. It's no problem. I'm happy to be here.
I like to bring people on to talk about things that matters. If it's not my field, if it's not my area, I stay off of it. So this is why I'm bringing you guys the professional to talk about what, Matt?
Talk about marriage, talk about affairs, and forgiveness.
Oh, jeez. That's
right?
A tough one. So tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. First of all, I am married. I've been married for 9 years now. 10-year anniversary will be next year. 10 years. Oh my gosh, a long time. So it is a long time. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I am also a business owner of my own private practice called Beachstone Counseling, right here in Pompano Beach, Florida. And my practice is a very cool place. You should check me out. If you don't know about it, go look me up on Facebook or Instagram and Twitter at Beachstone Counseling. You can find out all the information you need about that. I also have a website. And outside of my private practice, I run a nonprofit organization called The Go-To Therapist. And we are a nonprofit that is centered around bringing hope to the Black communities of South Florida by educating, advocating, creating access to mental health services to the Black communities of South Florida. So that's a little bit about me. I've been working in the field for about 8 years, and I've been licensed for about 3. So, you know, give or take, I'm still kind of fresh in the field.
Right.
I do have the marriage experience, but I've been married for 9 years. But with my years of experience in the field, I'll still be looked at as a rookie. But I think this topic is a good topic because this is stuff that I have been dealing with since I started the program in 2010. I've been seeing couples on and off from once I was a student, then I became an intern, then I became a licensed professional. I've seen couples, I've done seminars, I've done a lot of things in this regard. So this is a great topic to talk about. I think we should talk about this more. So
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get this started.
All right, so guys, this is all about Matt tonight. I will not be talking much. I will interact because you're the professional. We do have questions. I have questions.
Sure.
The audience have questions.
All right.
And we do have a lot of couples, people who are married, people who are thinking about getting married, people who are engaged, people who's just been with their significant other for a long time, and because of infidelity, they're not sure if they should take the marriage route. So you have some heavy duty stuff. I mean, I said the show is for 1 hour tonight. I hope you don't mind if we do go a couple of minutes over to address some concerns.
So let me preface this.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Our Creole viewers, oh my God. Tout moun haïtien yo kap tande nou Haïti, Chile, Canada, Port-au-Prince, quelque soit côté Haïti, Miami. Si on pa parle créole Aswè, on a parlé de relasyon côté que madame ou bien mari fait pachat dans relation et puis.
Is that what it's called? Pachat?
Pachat.
Oh,
Pas comment on dit cheat, mais c'est même pas quelqu'un qui aime tout bagage ça yo. Coucher sous madame ou bien coucher sous mari ou pachat. I prefer to say pachat. You know, you're being sneaky about it.
That's what pachat means?
Yeah, because when a cat is doing something, they go into hiding.
Oh, pachat.
Pachat. They go into hiding to get it done. So cheating, in our culture, we will give it a little nickname, pachat. So tout moun Haïti yo kapte de nou, si ou pa parle anglais, pa kou yi kite live lan, seulement Shirley, et puis ou ka tourne ou al tande l'encore, de pou tande on baga tout temps ou a vin komprendre. Toujours parce que Haïtien son paquet moun ki intelligent, you guys will get it. So basically, Matt, tonight, I brought you here tonight because since we've been doing the show, it's something that's been in the making for quite some months now. And people will send us topics after topics after topics that we need to debate on. I sit with Patrick on Friday nights, and our show on Friday nights, we do take on some serious stuff in the community, but it's more so like a fun, gossipy type of thing.
Gotcha.
And Patrick loved to gossip, by the way, if you didn't know that.
I caught a little bit of the show, I think, that you guys did this past week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's a gossiper.
Yeah.
So the show on Friday is not too serious, but yet serious.
Okay.
I take on the more serious road to bring in what I call trying to bring a solution to the problems. I'm very real. I keep it real. I talk about stuff that need to be heard that most people don't want to talk about. So if you're here tonight, you have questions. The topic is this: marriage, affairs, and forgiveness. Can you truly forgive? So let me turn over to you, Matt.
Is that where you want to start?
Yes, I'm going to start with you because you're the professional.
No, I'm talking about with forgiveness. Is that where we
No, we're not
okay.
starting marriage, affairs, and forgiveness.
All right.
Now, in your practice, so you do this on a daily basis.
Yes.
Marriage, affairs. Like,
Uh-huh.
I like the marriage part, the forgiveness part, but the middle part, I'm a little
The
stuck.
affairs,
The affair
right?
part.
The affairs.
Right. So
Okay.
how do we get there? Like in a marriage, how do we get there? You deal with this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
What is an affair?
Well, an affair
I
is.
know, but I need a professional
Yeah, I know. Well, an affair.
explanation.
An affair. I think people just look at affair as just the physical, but there are multiple types of affair. There's emotional affairs. There are, I guess like a more, not just emotional, but like an affair that doesn't necessarily have to do with you touching or something like that. So the affair isn't just physical. You have an emotional affair, a connection with someone that's not really physical. But affair is where you violate the bond or the sanctity of the marriage that you have, where the person who is being cheated on, in quotation, feels that you overstepped your boundaries with someone else or something else. Doesn't necessarily have to be a person either. An affair could be an attachment to something else that is taking the place of the spouse. So you're giving your attention or giving your time or giving your means to something or someone else in the place of your spouse.
So, for example, if are we just talking about, would you call it an affair if it's not within a marriage?
Yes, yeah.
It's still an affair?
So yeah, if it's outside of the marriage, is that what you're saying?
If two people are together,
Right.
commit in a committed relationship,
Yes.
they're just not legally put
Well,
together.
yeah,
is that
that's-
an affair?
I think now you get into semantics because when two people are together, if they're not married, then I don't think it would be called an affair. It would be called cheating. You
Okay.
know, the affair, I think, specifically with someone that you have made a commitment to. And I know there are people who say that marriage isn't necessarily where two people can commit, and some people don't believe in marriage, but at least for definition, we just have to define what we're going to talk about. If we're going to talk about people that are married, then
People that are married.
people that are married. If we're going
Right.
to talk about people that are dating, and that's cheating, which brings about a different types of level of commitment and boundaries based on their level of commitment to that relationship. So where are they in that relationship where they'd feel violated from the person? And of course, trust is different on each of those levels.
Oh, wow.
And so you want to make sure that we understand, is it a dating
marriage?
relationship? Is it a marriage? Is it, and so to better understand the context of the violation.
Well, tonight it's all about marriage, and if you're not married yet and you're thinking about, if you should be married, don't walk away, because you can still learn something from the conversation and the questions that are being asked.
This is definitely helpful for those who are thinking about getting married, because if you are thinking about it and some of the things that are mentioned are where you are right now, then these are some of the things that you need to deal with. And so because you asked about the affair, what I didn't get a chance to say is a lot of the things that happen in the marriage aren't necessarily the result of the marriage.
Come back.
Right? Yeah, let me go back a second. So
Okay.
the affairs that happen in marriage, it isn't necessarily the result of being married. A lot of the things that happen in the marriage are the result of things that happen before the marriage.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So a lot of the stuff that happened within the marriage may
Yes.
not be because there is a marriage. It could be some stuff that the person
Oh,
was
yes.
dealing with before,
Yes,
brought
plenty
it
of-
into the marriage
yes.
that caused the affair.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait.
There are plenty of things that happen before a person gets married that they bring into the marriage that allows whomever, the person or the spouse, to feel a particular way about that person or themselves that will push them to a place where they feel the need to step outside of the marriage.
Like old habits?
Old habits is one. Unresolved issues are another. You know,
Fantasies,
unfulfilled desires based on expectations, unrealistic expectations, or unspoken expectations. There are a number of things that people bring into the marriage that aren't necessarily, you know, spoken of before they get married, and they come into the marriage with these things, and they don't really get them resolved before they get married. And so then in the marriage, then, you know, if you don't really address them, then it becomes an issue to where the person may feel like they have to do these
step out.
Now,
in a situation like this, like you said, and I don't want to forget about you viewers. I'm going to get my phone because I should get my glasses. I'm so sorry. I'm going to get my glasses because I can't see that far. And I want to get your involvement here tonight. Let me see how to get to the comments. Can I have my glasses? Yeah, I want to be able to read because that's what we do.
You gotta.
I use iPhone, but I'm a little illiterate when it comes to it. I
don't see any questions.
No, I don't. I think my glasses is on the couch somewhere. Oh, there it is. I will put on my glasses because I want your interaction. It's not for me to talk tonight. It's mostly for you guys to ask questions. Share the page, share the page, share the page. And let me see if anybody did post anything.
No questions yet.
No questions yet, but people are watching. So tonight we are talking about marriage affairs and forgiveness. Is it possible? We have with us Matt, who's a licensed marriage family therapist, to answer your questions. You can go ahead and place whatever you want to talk about, any issues, anything you want to ask him personally. I'm the expert in the area, so I'll just be doing the reading and asking the questions. Hi, we give shout outs. I'm so sorry. I know this is a serious topic, but
I'm all about shout outs. I'm going to give a couple shout outs too. I saw a couple.
Yeah, anybody you want to shout out that's watching, we invite you to please share the page with your friends.
Let me see who's on there, and then I'll give a couple shout outs too.
Go right ahead.
I want to make sure that my peoples know I appreciate them. I appreciate them watching. So let's see who's on right now, and then I'll give the shout outs. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, my sister's on here. What's up, sis? Ah, she's way in Texas. Hi, sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a couple of people from high school watching. Hey, I see Jerry on there. Prince Adderall. What's up, man? I got a lot of people watching, man.
Yeah.
What's
They're
up,
tuning
man?
in. You guys, don't be afraid to share your opinion.
The support is overwhelming.
Joyce, my cousin, is here. Thank you for always supporting and watching us. Tonight it is such a Plaisir 509, Plaisir Compa 509. It's a radio station here in Palm Beach that's just broadcasting everything Haitian.
All right, cool.
They tune in with us. Gildegi, hi, how are you? Martine. Okay, guys, I have to get into the nitty gritty of what we're talking about tonight. Like, I can't. I'm gonna go back to what you said. I'm still trying to get like a full understanding of how can a person enter a marriage with an agenda that can cause them to cheat. Because but wouldn't you think, if before you get married, if there's any fantasies, if there's any old habits, if there's anything you feel like your wife should know, like, you know, as the baby starting to walk, you know, the baby can really fully let go. So if you watch them, I think you don't think there should be some warning giving to the other spouse about the...
That's ideal. In an ideal situation, you'd have two people, before they come together, invest in the relationship. There's a question on there. Invest in their relationship, meaning they go to premarital counseling and they get the tools they need to actually have a higher chance of having success in the marriage. And then when they are married, if they do run into issues, they would still go get the help. But that's not the majority of people. Right? People will invest more in that one day than they will invest. I heard this somewhere just recently. They will invest more in that one day of their lives than they will invest in the lifetime of their marriage. So you invest what, $40,000 for one day, but for the rest of the life of your marriage, you're not going to invest a dime, you know? Meaning you're not going to go get extra help. You're not going to get counseling. You're not going to get any marriage. You're not going to go any marriage retreats. You're not going to go buy any self-help books. You know, what are you doing to secure that investment, which is the marriage, right? And so the reason why I say premarital counseling is because before two people get married, you're thinking about two individuals that have so many different ideals and so many different expectations for themselves, for their spouses, that even if they're of the same culture, of the same faith, of the same race, all of them come in with what they think is truth. So I come in with my truth, you come in with your truth, and then we have to find some happy medium in between. And normally that doesn't happen easily. You know, you have a lot of conflict that comes in with coming in with expectations, and then let's say based on that person coming in with expectations, those expectations aren't being met based on what they think they should be, and then you have conflict. And when you have conflict, then you have like, I guess, motive, or, you know, feeling unvalidated, not feeling love, and then before you know it, they go seek that love and validation from somewhere else, and it starts with an emotional affair. And like, we're gonna go over what types of affairs there are, but you can see how people can bring their own agenda, into the relationship, from you know.
Oh my God. Whew. There's questions for you, and as you know, guys, we like to get you involved in the conversation.
Sure.
Geraldine asks you, how does one restore trust after forgiving?
Yes. Okay, that's a great question. Hey, Jerry, that's my girl right there. Hey, Jerry. So trust, right? So this is what you have to do, and a lot of people have issues with trusting after, you know, an affair. And so the way you do that is gradually. You know, trust isn't something that you just give out. Trust is something that is built upon. So, for example, if the person, you know, violated your trust in one way, doesn't mean that you have to stop trusting them, period. And I think that's what we do a lot. We stop trusting, period. So if you violate me in one area, I can't trust you with nothing, you know? And what that does for the person is that it pushes them outside of a context where they don't feel like they are ever going to redeem themselves enough to where love will be reciprocated in a fashion where they feel loved again, which allows them to just feel like, you know, you're not going to love me, you're not going to trust me, so I might as well continue the behavior, you know? So it perpetuates the cycle, basically. Because we have issues with forgiveness and trust, it perpetuates the cycle. So how do we get there? That's the question.
Right.
How do we get there? First of all, both parties have to be willing to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is not something easy for men to do. And so if that's not something that you can do on your own, that's something where you might want to include a professional. You might want to go to a place where both parties feel safe, both parties will feel heard, both parties will feel valued, to disclose whatever the violation was and the full nature of it, meaning you put everything out on the table, and it will hurt, but this is a part of the process that will lead you to a place where vulnerability can be had, and then new boundaries will be set, and then based on that person's honesty, reliability, and competence in that area that you would like to build a trust in, then you can start building trust. Trust is gradual. Just think of a staircase. One day you can trust with, okay, I can trust you going out with your friends. You know, I can trust you going on a trip as a business trip. I can trust you going on a vacation, you know. And so it builds gradually. It's not something that you say, as soon as the person asks for forgiveness, trust isn't just given back to them like that. No, that's not something that you. So you build gradually on different levels, on a strong foundation of vulnerability, honesty, reliability, and competence, meaning that they know exactly what they've done, and they know how the violation has impacted you, and they're willing to work and build that trust together. So hopefully that makes sense. Now,
while you were answering her question,
sure,
you said put everything on the table.
Yeah.
Do you mean like from day one, everything? Because sometimes in relationships, because it's already bad enough that you stepped out of the marriage, you've cheated, you've had this affair. Of course, the woman or whomever it was done to would want to know the details. But is it wise for the person to give all of the details? Do you think giving all the details of how we got here?
Right. So when I say all the details, I don't mean like the more intimate nature of Like you don't have to go play by play. Basically, you don't got to go play by play. Like and after that, I got the lube. No, that's not what I'm saying.
How you mad?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
did
those
you do
things,
it?
those things. You have to make sure that you're willing to disclose all of the things that will allow that person to feel exactly where you were, and so that person can tell you how that violation impacted them. So the level of vulnerability is on both sides, because you're being vulnerable, meaning the person who's disclosing these things is being vulnerable to put themselves out there, being like, yes, I violated your trust, and let me let you know how. And then the person who's receiving that information has to be vulnerable enough to let that person know, this is where the hurt began, and this is where the hurt impacted me, and this is where I am in this hurt, And so it's
okay. So we have another question. And
sure.
I have so many questions. I haven't even touched this. I have 6
right.
hot questions
let's
that
go.
was sent to me before the
All
show.
right.
But Christine Anderson, how does one forgive themselves? That's important.
Yeah,
how does
very
one
important.
forgive themselves after they've forgiven a person for cheating and the person does it again? How does one keep from feeling broken?
So the question, and by the way, hi Kristen, she's a good friend of mine as well. So how does somebody forgive themselves for allowing themselves to be cheated on twice? Is that the question? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
So I don't fully see why you would need to forgive yourself, because so if you've been cheated on before and the person cheats on you again, there is this thing. Even if you've been cheated on one time, there's this thing about, what did I do wrong, and what could I have done better, or how do I, and I may be misunderstanding this, but if I'm understanding this correctly, just give me feedback.
Like
if I'm
they're
not,
doing it again. Like
right, and so how do you forgive the person, or how do you forgive yourself?
They said, how does one forgive herself?
Right,
I
so
think I lost the question.
I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say
how does
that.
one forgive themselves?
Right, so I wouldn't think that you're the cause, so I wouldn't necessarily think that you need to forgive yourself for being in that situation. But if it is something that you struggle with and there is some self-blame, then there might be some self-evaluation that needs to be done on why is it that you would believe that it's your fault that this person steps out on you, when cheating almost has, not almost, but a lot of the times it has nothing to do with the person. It's usually an individual issue. Like, so if someone cheats, the spouse may feel like, well, what did I do? What could I have done differently? Or did I do something wrong? Or maybe I'm not pretty enough. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with the spouse.
But what about when the spouse tells you that I did it because you did not fulfill this, or you did not give me that, or I couldn't get you to understand me, no communication.
Yeah,
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, you were not having sex with me.
Yeah.
What did you expect me to do?
Right.
Is
so
it,
there's a lot of scapegoating that goes on, and when the communication isn't open enough to where the person can actually admit to where they fell short,
Right.
Early on, if the communication isn't right, then you have a lot of blame. Well, you should have done this, or you could have did this, or and that's not really healthy. So, which brings me to, let me talk about the list of affairs first, like what type of affairs there are, and so that when you hear what it is, then you can get a better understanding of, maybe this has nothing to do with me for real, and you can leave, or not leave, but at least have an understanding that what I'm feeling is just basically my anxiety about myself, my insecurities about myself, has nothing to do with the actions of my spouse. My spouse maybe has their own issues that they haven't addressed, and so one of them is the double life affair. This type of affair, infidelity, occurs when there's very little emotional attachment with the spouse. And so if there's very little emotional attachment in the first place, then that's not necessarily on you. That person isn't emotionally attached or invested in a relationship. Then that person, if I'm not invested in it, then it makes sense why I could easily just step out, because I'm not there emotionally already. You understand?
So why not end it?
Why not? Some people get married based on points that doesn't necessarily have to do with emotions or intimacy. They get married based on commonalities that doesn't really glue you together. Like, okay, we mesh well, education-wise, career-wise,
business-wise,
family family-wise, you know, or we look really good together, or we take really good Facebook pictures together. All these different things that are superficial, that aren't necessarily genuine reasons why two people should wed, but they do it anyway. And when they don't really have a connection that takes them above and beyond what their expectations were, then they get let down. So it's like, oh man, what did I do? So I'm here, and then it's not just the expectations that they have for themselves. Then you're talking about family pressure, and you're talking about religious pressure, then you're talking about societal pressure. You divorced already? You just got married. You know, all this other stuff that comes with being divorced, or divorced women, or divorced male, the stigmas that come with it too. And then there's the expression, it's cheaper to keep her, you know, or it's cheaper to keep him.
Yeah.
So all these different things will prevent someone from actually just throwing their hands up and leaving, you know. And that's not the easiest route to take. So that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Right?
Okay.
So another one, get this phone to, you know, work correctly. Another one is the emotional or non-physical affair. That's the one we spoke about before.
Right.
That's the one where the person is emotionally available to someone else outside the relationship, or they are emotionally dependent on someone else outside the relationship, you know? So there's nothing physical, but there is an emotional connection with the other person. And this is more so what females would do rather than men. Men are more like physical.
So wait, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that men can't have emotional affairs, but...
So you think the female would carry on an affair for more so the emotional benefits of it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, female are naturally more emotional.
A little closer to
A little
me.
closer. Okay, female are more... there's nowhere to go.
Okay.
Female are naturally more emotional, and then men don't really rely on that part of themselves to be seen as much, and so which leads them not to really depend on the emotional connection.
Okay.
You know, they are more connected physically, which is only a fraction of the relationship. You know, when it comes to levels of intimacy, physical is only one. There's physical, there's emotional, there's spiritual, there's mental, there's relational, there's social. There's all these different points where you can be intimate. But if the person is only solely dependent on the physical, then, and they're not really fulfilled physically, then it would easily make sense why they
In
would
your
go
practice, before you go to point
Sure.
number 3, do you see more problems with marriages that seek counseling, that comes to you for help and direction? Do you see more of a physical broken marriage? It was the marriage got to where it is today because of the physical, as someone went outside
Right.
for physical comfort. Do you
Right.
see more of that, or do you see more emotional?
Emotional. I think before I could even get there, I see a lot of couples in trouble because they haven't made the investment that they should have made before the marriage.
Okay.
That's number one, you know. So they're married and they're making it work. And I'm talking about they work hard to make the relationship work, but they don't have the tools, you know. They don't have all the tools necessary to make it work.
What are the tools?
Now you're talking about premarital counseling,
Okay.
you know, which is a whole nother subject. I can come back for that.
Right,
But
okay.
there are a lot of tools that you need to make any relationship work. What are the tools you need to make business relationship work? What are the tools you need to make a good friendship work? What are the tools you need to make, you know, any other relationship work, you know? You
Right.
need these tools to have success, so when something happens, you know how to handle it in a mature and an adult fashion.
Right.
This one is really interesting. So you can have two mature individuals, right? But when the relationship come together, it's still an immature relationship, right? So yes, we're both mature in our own right, but if we don't have a mature relationship, then we'd be more susceptible to things happening because we're immature. Our relationship is immature, you know, meaning that we don't have a solid foundation of what relationships are really about.
Oh, they're putting you. They're asking what are the tools. He said he doesn't mind coming back to talk to you guys.
What are the tools?
Because you know, it's a lot. He broke down you on number 2. You didn't even get to 3. So let me
3.
let him get to the different stuff that's
different
attached.
type of affairs. So there's the opportunistic one night stand type of affair. This type of affair is usually unplanned and are usually due to impulsive decision, in which one is like last minute type of thing. So this person isn't really looking for to have an affair, but because the opportunity is there, they'll just do it. You know, like, I don't know what I was thinking. You know, I really wasn't thinking, or I had too much to drink, or whatever the case may be, and then that's the opportunistic affair. That's not necessarily a result of, you know, someone doing something wrong. Opportunity presented itself, and because the person couldn't keep it in their pants, or
they didn't have the tools.
they didn't have the tools.
They didn't
you know,
have the
they couldn't
tools.
phone a friend like, yo,
Come get me out of
come
here.
get me. You know.
Yeah.
Another one.
Guys, the questions. I'm gonna let them finish the different types
Uh-huh.
because they have a lot of questions for you.
Great.
But you must finish what you're saying
Sure,
so you
sure.
guys can connect with the answers
Right.
you're about to get.
So yeah, so there's the exit strategy. I'm deeply unhappy in my marriage, so the affair is my way out. You know. So people use an affair as a way to get out of their marriage because they're not happy in the marriage. So instead of ending it, being like, you know what, this isn't working out, they'd rather go that route so they can have a way to exit the marriage. You know, you understand? So
I get it, but how are they? How is that a way out for them? Doesn't that make things more complicated? Because if they get busted,
as the name indicates, this type of affair, the partner who strays is unhappy in the marriage and may feel that he or she no longer loves their spouse. So if you fall out of love, which can happen, if you fall out of love with your spouse, then you know you're gonna try to find it somewhere else. Some of our most basic needs are love, affection, and acceptance. And so love, affection, and acceptance, right?
Basic needs, you call
Basic. These are some of our basic needs, and all of us have them. And if these needs aren't being fulfilled, then you know you're gonna try to fulfill them somewhere from a fashion. So if it's a period of time where you haven't felt love, you haven't felt affection, or you haven't felt acceptance in a long time, then you know you're gonna try to find an exit strategy, and an affair may be just the thing to get you out,
to get you away from that.
to get you away from it. And then there is the serial cheater, the sex addict, you know, the Tiger Woods of the relationship.
Oh, jeez.
The Eric Benet, is that the guy's name?
Yeah,
Eric
yeah,
Benet?
with the
sex addict. You know,
Berry.
these individuals. So this person came into the marriage like that. This person just wasn't. They got married and then they became a serial cheater. This person had this issue before they got into the marriage, and these are things that should have been addressed in premarital counseling. So let's say if the spouse knew that this individual had issues with fidelity,
Right.
then they could have done something. Okay, what can we do to put a system in place to where you can feel supported with your issue, you know? And so if they do feel supported with their issue, then, you know, then it's not a one-person problem, it's our problem, so we can have a solution, or we can come up with solutions that can better help the individual have success in their marriage.
Okay. You have...
There's two more.
Two more. Go ahead.
So there's one called Love is a Drug for Me. Love is a Drug of Me. And so love addiction is a marital affair. So people are in love with being in love. So, you know, it's easy for them to fall in love, and they're always, you know, these are hopeless
So
romantic.
needy people, they feel like they must have someone. Is that type of love?
Yeah. So they are more about intimacy of a new relationship, the intensity of a new relationship. So it's like, wow, this is so, you know, all of the feelings that you get. So this person would like to, if they could, stay in the honeymoon phase forever, you know, meaning where everything is just peachy, and then as soon as that kind of fades away, which happens within a year or 2 or 3, whatever, depends on the relationship of the couple, then they're looking for that high again, because it is a high, you know, the dopamines that are pumped into your system, the butterfly, you know, all those feelings, they're looking and they're searching for them, and so that's that individual. And the last one is the revenge affair. It's the I'll show you, I'm gonna get you. You hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back. Or you did something to me, you embarrassed me, I'm gonna hurt you back. And that's the person that has an affair based on where they are emotionally. Basically, if I feel hurt, then I'm gonna try to hurt you back. So those are the different types of affairs that are out there.
So which one, now that you give us an idea of what is what, do you think in your profession is the most dangerous?
Wow, I think all of them are equally dangerous. I think all of them are equally dangerous because the level of hurt is subject to the individual, right? So there, you know, the question is, but you know, some people say, but we didn't even do anything. I didn't even touch the person, or we didn't kiss. We didn't do anything. But the violation is where the major damage lies. You know, yes, you didn't touch that person. Yes, you didn't kiss that person, but you were emotionally attached in a way to that individual, which was taking away from what you're supposed to be giving to your spouse.
Right.
And so therefore that's the violation. And if that violation is there, then you can't you can't quantify that hurt. Basically, you can't say one hurt is more than the other, because it could be the emotional affair that really hurts. It could be the physical affair. It could be whichever one. So I can't say one is greater than the other or one is more dangerous than the other. It depends on the level of hurt that the individual is feeling, the spouse or the person that was cheated on is actually feeling.
All right. So, guys, it's time to get your involvement again. I'm trying to, it's a lot to read. I'm going to go back up and trying to give a fair chance to whomever was asking first, trying to get their question answered. How do you move on from forgiveness to reconciliation? It's hard to do.
It's very hard to do. It's very, very hard to do, but it can be done. I think that's the biggest thing right there. Some people believe that after an affair you're out, you know, and so I'd like to liken the affair to like any bad relationship, right? So what do we do when we have bad relationships? Do we run away from all of them? Do we give up on all of them? You know, we have. This is something that I had a discussion with just this early this week, but we have jobs that, I mean, really abuse us. We have bosses that are really like emotionally and mentally abusive towards us. We're in workspaces, we're in relationships where, I mean, we're getting really, really hurt on a consistent basis, but we stick it through, right? One experience that's really, you know, like people go to Walmart and Walmart sucks. Right?
I don't shop there.
People go to Walmart and they're frustrated every single day, but they go back and they go back and they go back and they go back and then they get in fights, they argue and they deal with the emotional, but then you have something that you commit to, right? And yes, you're violated, but you're more apt to give up on your relationship than you would to give up on Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So in the I know this is like so left field, but in the context of emotional abuse or emotional hurt, wow, like how much are we willing to just put up with things that are trivial versus something that is clearly beneficial to your life, you know? I mean, plenty of research have said that people who are married, they have higher quality of life, you know, higher quality of life. They experience higher quality of life, meaning that they are more susceptible to happiness. They have more success in their careers. They have more success in, you know, in other areas of life. They tend to live longer. Health benefits. There's a lot of different benefits that
to being married.
Yeah, to be in marriage. But I think because society have devalued marriage for such a long time, we're just looking for ways to give up. And then where are the real examples? Where are the stay-togethers? You know, one of my favorite artists, Big Crit, on one of his last albums, he said, "What happened to the stay-togethers? These the people that actually make it work even when things get hard." You know, so.
Okay, so I'm going to read some more questions. I do have some questions for you.
You have some questions too?
I have some questions, but I'm so careful not to, because they have some great things that they're asking you here.
Ask away.
Teresa Kelly says that my ex-husband and I had gone to counseling. I forgive him. He needs some forgiveness. So that's a good thing.
Yes, it's always good to forgive.
Mirka too said, Mirka, would you like to come live? I know that I think you have an iPhone, because she's making a lot of valid, what I think for me is a lot of valid point.
What did she say? Come on, like,
she said, one thing I realize in our community is cheating is almost seems to be something that we should expect.
Wow.
And that's really troubling to me. Is cheating something you should expect in a marriage?
I wouldn't say something you should expect. When you say something you should expect, I mean, it's almost like normalizing it. You know? Right. Like, it's gonna happen. It doesn't necessarily have to happen, but the other point to that is that when cheating does occur, what I normally see is that people are like, you know what, I'm done. Right? And so, yes, cheating may occur or it may not occur, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up. That's the greater point right there. If it happens, if it doesn't happen, if it does happen, I'm on the side of do what you can to make it work, right? And then there are so many other factors, man. Sometimes there are kids involved. Sometimes there are a lot of, you know, different things, and people are just willing to just walk away from it. And yes, I've heard this myself, that there are certain cultures that are more apt to being unfaithful. You know, they say that about Haitian
the Haitian
men.
culture. Oh yeah, Haitian. I don't think
Haitian,
Haitian
what's
men
up, man?
understand anything to do with being faithful. Like, does that word mean anything to them?
Right. So let's talk about the cultural aspect for that for a second, right? So there are cultural reasons why Haitian men are more apt to be unfaithful. And
Right.
that's something that I don't think a lot of people consider, right? Think about how the Haitian culture is set up, where the man is the head of the household,
Right.
right? It's based on a system that came from Roman culture, because Haitian is Haiti is an island that is majority Catholic. And when the Catholics came and they put their influence on there, the Catholic influence also brought with it some cultural influences that are now a part of the Haitian culture, which weren't necessarily ours to begin with.
Mm.
So let me start by saying that Catholic is Roman Catholic, right? Catholic, Roman Catholic,
Right.
right? And so the Roman culture is based on honor shame. It's an honor shame society. Did you know that?
No, I did not
And
know
also further in that, the Roman society is a society that's based on the paterfamilias, meaning the man is the head of the household,
that. Okay.
right? And so with that comes certain privileges that the man can do based on him being the head of household that has been transferred over into the Haitian culture. So the man can almost do no wrong, in the eyes of that system,
Right.
right? Because he is the head of the household, so mistakes that are made, chalk it up to me being the man,
Wow.
the head of the household. So a woman have to know their place, and right? All these different cultural things that came with that culture is now transferred over, and not just the Haitian culture, it's a lot of West Indian culture takes on this paterfamilias role where the man, or the machismo in the Latin culture, where the man is the head of the household. And with that comes a lot of other expectations that to be the man, sometimes it has to be associated with multiple women as well, right?
Mhm.
And these are things that we know have happened in Haitian culture, where you would have a husband, right? He would have a wife, but he'd also have someone on the side, even living in the house. Come on, This isn't something that's brand new. I've heard this before in Haiti and even in the States, where they would have a family and they'd have another family right down the block.
Right.
And they'd have another family down the block, right?
Right.
But it's the man that has those multiple families, not the woman that has those multiple families. So because it's been normalized over in Haiti, when you see it here, it's just a transference of that culture coming over here. But it wasn't our culture to begin with. It was a culture that was adopted based on a religion that was brought over from a different culture.
But in a situation like this, where you're in a marriage and there's so much shenanigans going on, affairs and kids, and it's all good and dandy when the kids are older and they recognize what we call here in America my half brothers and my half sisters.
Right.
But this is a load to have to carry for a woman, to know that your husband is out there spreading seeds, and then you have to explain to your children that these are your half, what we call it here. Is this marriage worth saving? Like, what are we fighting for?
What are we fighting for? So there's a lot of re-education that needs to be done based on a lot of people bringing their culture over here to the United States and expecting it to have success, because the more educated a person becomes on the nature of things, meaning what's normal and what's accepted, then the more they are to be like, wait a minute, I'm questioning everything now. What are you doing? How am I being treated this way? I'm going to work and this person's telling me that their spouse doesn't do this, or I'm learning different things, or I'm watching shows, or I'm reading books now, and these things aren't normal, so something has to give, right? And so there's a lot of re-education that needs to happen, and not just the Haitian community, but a lot of West Indian community, where they have to learn that a lot of these things aren't necessarily going to breed the success that it may have had in another culture. I'll give you an example. I had a client who was, it was a Latin couple, and the young man, I can't remember exactly what place he was from in Latin America, but he said that it was normal for his father to have multiple relationships. All of his uncles did it, all of his cousins did it, so when he came to the United States, he did it, right? That was part of what being a man was. And so he had a child out of wedlock. So he was married to a woman, he had a child out of wedlock, and by the time they came to me, the woman who he got pregnant the first time was pregnant a second time.
By him again.
By him again, right? And so it was very tumultuous. And when I got an opportunity to speak to the guy individually, I mean, the emotions that he shared was, he's like, it's so hard for me not to be this person based on how I was raised, based on the culture that I was, that I was raised in, based on the things that I was taught. It's so hard to me, and it frustrated him because that was his normal. So he could not understand why he couldn't live this normal life that was taught to him, that was passed down to him from his father to him. Why is it not normal to him? And it was hurting him that he was hurting his spouse.
But why would he feel like the behavior itself is wrong? So of course you're going to be hurting her.
Right. So you said the behavior itself is wrong. The behavior itself is wrong in the American context. But in his context, which is a Latin American country, that's not wrong. That's normal. That's normal. So it's wrong in your eyes, and it was wrong in his spouse's eyes. But to him, to his family,
he's not doing anything.
He's not doing anything wrong.
So a marriage like that, where does it end?
It doesn't necessarily have to end with the right tools and with the right education, with the right counseling. They can make that situation work because he was very remorseful. Like I said, he didn't want to be in that space. But you're talking about things that have been instilled in him for like years.
Generations too. Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if this is normal to me, I'm gonna do it. You know, and so we see a lot of these behaviors, and we just think that this person is just a bad person. No, this is something that has been normalized, and we see it now. You know, like, you know, in the music and the media and a lot of things. That's just it. You know, you stay in a relationship for a season, and then when that's not working, you go to another relationship for a season. When that's not working, you go to another relationship for a season, and then you know you.
You guys, I just want to let you know, if you are using an Apple product, it will be much easier for you to ask all the questions. There's so many. I don't know if you want to jump on your phone and help me. Every second
really?
I turn.
Yeah, more questions?
Berlin Barry says, does that mean women can do the same thing?
Oh man, why do we have to go there? You know, I don't mind. I don't mind talking about that. So it's like, so why would, knowing the damage that it caused already, right? And I'm not justifying the male's action. I'm not saying that it's okay. And so if a woman decides to go down that route, then she has to know that there are consequences to her action, just like if a man goes down that route. Mm-hmm. There are consequences to all of our actions. We have to know that if you are going to go down that route, if there's kids involved, if, you know, there are consequences. So if that's what you'd like to do, I'm not giving you the green light. But explore that more, find out how it's going to impact not just the other person, but yourself. Because what you're doing is that you're opening yourself up to be hurt even more. Because, you know, I think what we don't really see is every time that we kind of like invest emotionally, physically, spiritually in someone else, we're actually opening ourselves up to be hurt, you know. And some people say that, well, I don't have any feelings anymore, you know, I'm all cried out or whatever. That's where you are, then I would suggest that you go see a professional, because I think one of the beautiful things about relationship is the vulnerability to be hurt. The fact that you can be vulnerable enough, the fact that you can care enough for a person that person can hurt you. It's weird, right?
So if you can really accept the fact that the person can hurt you,
yes,
it's a good thing.
That's a good thing. If you don't really care if the person hurts you or not, then why are you really with the person?
While we're on this, let's stay here for a second.
Sure.
As a therapist, when would you say, and I'm not talking about premarital counseling, now that you're in a marriage, what are the signs that you think a married woman, a married man, once you see them, even though the trouble is not here yet, when should you get up and say, let's get some sort of outside help or get a voice of reason? When do you make that step before
when you make the call?
Far?
When do you call Beachstone Counseling? When do you phone Matt Genius at Beachstone Counseling? So you have to find out where your threshold is. Everyone's threshold is different, you know. And what I don't like to hear sometimes is that we can deal with this, we can deal with it, we can deal with it, and then the person internalizes it, and it starts to manifest in different relationships. You have to see if it's impacting you, right? Mentally, emotionally, if you're sleeping more, sleeping less, if you're in a space where you know you're always calling the person, where you feel your trust has been violated, where you feel like you can't communicate, where you're arguing, where you're fighting, where you're always in conflict. These are certain things that you may need to go seek professional help for. If you feel that you no longer can communicate effectively with that person based on a violation, you may need to seek some help. If you feel that, you know, you're unsafe, you know, And that's another one too. You feel like you're unsafe based on the person that's violated you, not just in the affair, but emotionally and even physically sometimes. You may definitely want to go seek some help, because that's not a state where you should be in, period. If you're there, then that can cause not just emotional distress for you, but all of the different relationships that you're in. The professional relationships, at work, with your kids. Kids can see this, which is another thing that, that we really don't understand the context of how separation impact the children. And I'd never say stay together for the kids, but you also have to weigh everything to see if working it out will be a better solution than separating and having to deal with the stress that the kids may have to go through and so forth. So a lot of different signs to look forward to seek professional help. And if I didn't name all of them, if you can think of more, put them in the thing too. Or if you'd like to ask more questions that I couldn't answer here, if I wasn't succinct enough for you, then find Beachstone Counseling, send me a message, because I know I'm not going to get a chance to answer all of the questions here. So.
Okay, now the next question, this is more so, I have to go in my notes because they did send you some questions. And guys, please, I am so sorry, there's a lot coming to me. I'm trying my best to answer all of your questions, but this is a conversation that we're having. And if you're on an Apple product, it doesn't necessarily have to be that your marriage is in trouble, but you can still call and ask questions for a friend, for how we say we're just asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Or you may want to give your input, or Mega has a lot to say, but she's not coming on.
Somebody says, are we a couple? No.
No, we're not.
No.
Go.
No,
no, we're
if you
not.
were here earlier, I said I was married. I'm happily married for 9 years. I have 4 beautiful daughters. You can go to my page and you can see them.
How did they came together?
No, I have triplets.
Okay.
I have triplets. That's another story. I can come back for that.
All right, because I was always
I
wondering.
can share techniques on how you get multiples and
Oh
stuff.
God,
No, I'm
yes,
kidding.
that's
I'm just
interesting.
kidding.
He's kidding. Here's a question that I have.
Sure.
Oh my God, they telling me like I need to. Hold on, let me go to that question. The king can. Oh my God.
Yeah, you need to
Leslie
say that. I
Charles.
read that.
Oh
You need to say
my
that.
God,
Yeah.
you sure you want me to read that, Leslie?
Read it.
The king can make plenty of move without the queen. The king just isn't complete without the queen as much as she without him. Confused feminist women think they can do fine. Hold on, I gotta push more. Confused feminist women think they can do fine without a man. The illusion is strong. How do you respond to that?
Well, yeah, she has some valid points. And like I said earlier, all of us, no one's immune to this. And if they say that they are, then they may be dealing with their own emotional or psychological distress. All of us have a basic need for love, acceptance, and affection. That's something that we always need. The research was done, I can't remember by whom. This was in early psychology when I was studying. Research was done on a mammal, where the mammal had to pick between, I think it was a monkey, between sustenance, meaning food for them, or the comfort of something that resembled a mother. This was a young infant, and the infant always went to the thing that reminded them of their mother. We are relational beings. We would prefer receiving the love, affection, and acceptance rather than our basic food needs, and that's important to us. And so what she's saying is right. We are better together as a community. That's general, but as in relationships, we are better. A lot of the things that we deal with individually are easily remedied if we had relationships that were genuine.
Leslie's a man. He said, I'm a man. I know my name is confusing, but I'm a man. That's who asked the question about the king.
Did I say she? Did I say she?
I don't know, but the conversation is so juicy.
I apologize, Leslie, if I said she.
Well, Leslie, would you like to come live? Because and they're going at him too, because there's a fight going on in the conversation.
Let them do it.
You guys could go through it, but please allow me, Leslie. Oh God, if you have an Apple product, we'll be glad. Our producers here sliding through the thing, trying to invite people.
Can we hear them if they do speak?
Yeah, we can. If we don't speak, they speak. We can hear them. But I must ask the question. Okay, we're back. We're still here.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, the question.
Let me go to because
I'll
I
scroll
took
through
notes.
this. I'll scroll through this
while I ask you the questions.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Let me see if they have any other questions.
What is that one thing a married couple should always remember?
Oh, that's loaded too. That's loaded too because there's never a one size fit all type of schema for couples, you know? And so I think one of the most important components of any relationship is communication. Learning how to communicate effectively. Because when you do that, then everything is normally on the table. You are able to communicate your emotions, your fears, your anxieties, your shortcomings, your desires, your expectations. And communication doesn't just necessarily deals with what I say. Communication is the channel that's open between the two parties, meaning that what I say is being heard and is being interpreted in the right way, that a message is received, and after the message is received, then another message is sent validating that the message was received, even if it's not agreed upon, but the message was received, and then the person can actually speak back what their opinion or what their thoughts are on that subject. So I think communication is the key to a lot of relationships. So, but to answer the question, I don't think that's just one what was the question? One specific thing that
a married couple should always remember.
Yeah, should always remember. I think communication is key, but as far as what you should remember, your anniversary date, you know, your wedding date, remember that. That's important. Don't forget that.
You better remember that.
Mine is in May 11th.
Oh my God, you better remember that. Can you imagine? And another question, is the marriage without fulfillment worth saving?
Marriage without fulfillment, that's difficult, because who's to say that you can't receive fulfillment when you put in the work, you know? To get the result that you need, there has to be work that's put into it. And that starts with, what are you willing to invest in it, right? So let's say if you have a car. It's not performing well. What do? You go to a mechanic. The mechanic say, okay, you need this, that. They give you a list of things. I hate mechanics, by the way. That's a side conversation. But the mechanic will give you a sheet of paper with a bunch of recommendations that you need to do, right? So let's say in your budget, you can only do 2 things right now. You get those 2 things done, what happens? The car starts to perform better. You're like, wow, man, that's all I have to do? And you're like, okay, I'm going to save more money so I can invest and get these other things done. When you get that whole list of stuff done, it's like you're riding a brand new car almost. You can feel the difference in performance and acceleration and the brakes and the alignment. You feel all those different things. And it's the same thing within a marriage. So if you're not getting the results that you need, go find someone that can give you the recommendations on what it is that you need to address. Where are your shortcomings? Not just in the relationship, because the relationship is always the individual, the other individual, and the actual relationship. So there's 3 components of the relationship. What do I need to do? What does the person need to do? And what do we need to do, right? And so when you find out what those things are, what can I invest in? What can I take care of right now? We need to build our communication. How can we build our communication? We need to work on conflict. What can we do to work on our conflict? We need to work on intimacy. How can we build our intimacy? We need to work on, finances. What can we do about our finances? So there's a lot of different things that you can touch on based on where you are to get the result that you need. So,
okay.
I answered that question.
I hope so. And I believe the 6 people who send me questions must be watching. There's trouble in my marriage. Where is it? There's trouble in my marriage. I know we need the help, but he doesn't think outside help can help us. So what do? I'm ready to leave unless we get help.
And it's usually guys, and that's why I got into this field. So I can be a place where, not me myself, but my practice could be a place where men can come and talk to and get some real deal counseling, because I'm a man. I get it. I'm not trying to say that I'll be biased, but what I'm saying is that most of the time when I do face men in therapy, it's either they're there for ultimatum or by court order. They don't usually just come in. That's not something that happens regularly. So what I would suggest is that you talk to him about what's important, because we invest in what's important. And not just what's important. We know when something is not working, we know exactly where to go to deal with it, right? So when it comes to the physical body, when it comes to your teeth, you go to a dentist. You really need to go fix your teeth. So go get your teeth fixed. I have glasses. I have to go to the eye doctor twice a year to get my eye exam, you know, get my contacts in, or get a new pair of glasses, you know. And if I have back problems, I got to go see a chiropractor. And we know how to deal with all of the physical issues. When it comes to the emotional and the mental, we're like, can't trust them. Even though we went to school, we got our degrees, you know, we got our certifications, you know, we paid our dues, but it's like this isn't something that they actually trust or value. And it's just as valuable because the mental and emotional can impact your physical state the same way your physical state can impact your emotional and mental state, you know. If you have constant headaches, if you're constantly sick, then it's going to impact the way you feel, you know, the way you emotionally feel. And it's the same thing. If you are always stressed out, if you're always anxious, then the hormones that are released in your body based on you always feeling a particular way will have an impact on your physical body, you know. And so I would suggest that you go talk to that person and let them know, hey, listen, this is important. This is an area where we are hurting. This area needs a tune-up. It needs a repair. And the place where you get it repaired is a professional counselor. The same way you will get your teeth, your eyes, your back, or whatever else fixed.
So basically, a person like you, what you do as a licensed professional,
yes,
marriage and family therapist, you can bring in the different, I would say, exercises, or you can introduce them to different techniques.
Yes, yes. And the techniques that you mentioned are the tool bags, you know?
Okay.
Are the tool bags you need. Any good person in their craft have a bag of tools that they use, right? Mm-hmm. So a makeup artist, they come with their tool bags ready, right? So they can to get you on that, to look, what do they call it? Women say they get their face beat.
Get their face beat.
Right? And in order to do that, that person has to have a bag of stuff to do that. So in order to get your relationship where you need to, mm-hmm. where you need to have it, you need to get that tool bag filled with different things to use when your relationship is in peril. So you know exactly what to do. You know, well, it doesn't work exactly. But like I said, you will have more tools. So if you're using, you know, if I'm going to stick to the analogy of tools, if you're using a screwdriver and this doesn't fit, then you go find another screwdriver. You use that one. You know, maybe you need a shorter one, maybe you need a longer one. So it depends on the different tools that you need. But you need tools to have success, just in anything that you do. So, yes, I would provide plenty of tools, plenty of methods, plenty of exercises, plenty of resources outside of therapy, plenty of things that they can do to strengthen their relationship.
Okay, on my end, I know I've taken more than what I've said I would as far as your time is concerned.
That's fine. They have more questions?
We started. Unfortunately, guys, I cannot. This is not going to be an all-night type of conversation. He has a practice to run in the morning. He's been at work all day, and I did ask for only 1 hour of his time. I've already taken 12 or 13 minutes. I'm going to ask one last question, just that one last question that I have.
Sure.
Should, in a situation where either the male or the female feel like they need professional help, one is willing to go and the other one is not, is it always ideal to just go? If you feel like you can go while the other partner stay behind, is it always ideal to just go and find clarity for yourself,
yes.
since your partner cannot?
Yes, go.
Or doesn't want to?
Go. Okay. Go. Because what happens is that if both of you don't get the help, then there's nothing happening, you know?
Right.
And it's not saying that the changes that you experience will automatically impact the other person, but mm-hmm. you're coming in with tools that the relationship doesn't have. Remember, I said there are 3 components. There's you, there's a spouse, and there's a relationship. So you can bring tools that will help the relationship. And then there may be some things that you may learn to better yourself to deal with these circumstances that the relationship is going through. So yes, I would always suggest that if one person isn't going and you feel that you need to go get that help. You know, and it doesn't have to be from me. I hope it is, but it doesn't have to be from me. If it's not working out with any therapist, you can always ask for a referral. And that therapist, if they are a person that values, you know, the craft, they should always refer to you at least 3 people. Leave you with 3 recommendations. Hey, you know, I'm sorry that I couldn't be a good fit for you, but here's this number, here's that number, and do a follow-up later. This, you know, to make sure that what you got was something that was valued for you.
Ooh, just one last one.
Sure.
We're talking about marriage, and we're forgetting about the kids. In a troubled marriage, there are kids involved.
Yes.
Do you suggest that if a family's in danger as far as the marriage, they don't know which direction the relationship is going to go or the marriage is going to go, is it always recommended to get the kids, especially the kids that are aware of what's going on, or the kids that can actually feel what's going on? Do you think it's always wise for parents to consider counseling, because you do marriage and family?
Yes.
So is it wise to get the kids into therapy?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the level of psychological distress of the children. So some things that happen in the marriage, the kids may need help. So if there's abuse, verbal, physical, mental, financial, if these abuses are happening, the kids are aware, then you may need to get that kid help, because what will happen is that based on the kid being exposed to it, then they are more likely to repeat that cycle, meaning they could be the perpetrator or they could be the victim in a future relationship. So get that kid some help. But also, if the kid is old enough to understand the context of the trauma of being in a relationship where you aren't having success, and the kid is asking, Mommy, are you okay? Daddy, are you okay? Why are you guys fighting? Why are you guys fighting? That kid may need some help, because, like I said, these things impact the child as much as they do each spouse, because it's a system. The whole system, if you damage one area, then other areas of that system will be impacted as well. It's just like an ecosystem. If you take away the water in the ecosystem, then slowly but surely that whole ecosystem will be deteriorated. So you want to make sure that everyone is healthy, and you do that. You can come individually, you can come one at a time, or you can come as a family, you can come as a couple. But of course, there are certain things that you don't want to expose the kid to based on the level of maturity of that child. If it's a young child, then you want to talk to them, or you don't want to have them in a room where you two are talking about certain, certain things. But there are other kids that are older that can handle that, and then you might want to involve them, because it also would impact them to see that you guys are resolving it, right? And it doesn't. So when I see couples, when I see families, it doesn't necessarily have the family have to come in every session, but it's also good sometimes to bring in different parties to get another perspective, because some of the things that the husband and wife may see, the kid may be like, no, that's not how I see it, So it's like in the glass house looking. From the outside looking in, what's the outside perspective? How do other people view the couple? What have they seen that's been toxic? What are recommendations that they can make for the couple, because they were a part of what was allowing the system to perpetuate itself. So allow them to be a part of the solution as well. So yes, kids are resilient, kids are strong, but you also need to get these kids help so that they won't repeat the cycle in their future generation. All
right. Well, this is it for us tonight, guys. Before I let you go, is there anything else you would like to say to the people watching? Give your information again for anyone who may be thinking about seeking help and talking to someone.
I saw over 40 individuals at one point in time, and I would hope that these individuals would go back and see that I am a business owner here, a local business owner, and my practice is specifically for the black community, and I want to make sure that I am here to serve the black community. But I see anyone, money's green, that's fine. But I also want to make sure that you guys know that I'm here for you guys. Beachstone Counseling. So go to Facebook, go to Instagram, like Beachstone Counseling, send me questions, inquire about sessions. If you are on the edge, if you're on the brink, make the decision, make the call, send me an email. I will get back to you within 24 hours. Make that call, send me an email. Listen, you don't have to go through the issue that you've been dealing with for all these years, sitting on that issue. And it's impacting not just yourself, but the relationships that you have. If you're in a toxic relationship and it's not working out, bring that person in. Tell that person you know someone that could potentially help them. And if I can't help them, listen, I will find someone that will be able to help you guys. So go like me on Facebook, Beachstone Counseling. Go like me on Instagram, or follow me on Instagram at Beachstone Counseling. And I'm here to always answer questions. If I can't get to you today, I will get to you within 24 hours. Thank you so much, Maggie. This was such a great platform.
Thank you so much for saying yes. This was a very important conversation for a lot of people. They did send in questions. I read, I think, 3 or 4, and the people had a lot to say. Keep the conversation going, guys. I thank you so much for watching. I love you for watching. Share the page for us. Anu Pale Letstalk. This page, this group here is designed for us to do things like this, where I go out in the community and bring the professional to you, and would debate serious issues that we're dealing with, things that we would not be talking about unless we bring it forward to you here. Thank God for Facebook. I love you for watching. Share the page. Tell your friend about Anu Pale. Visit his practice. Hardworking man. in the community is here to help you. Like our page, share the conversation, tell your friends. If you know there's a struggling friends who may need help, share this video, share this live with them. Let them watch it, and then they will decide where they go from here. I love you so much for watching. Tune in on Thursday with Chuko, the crazy guy of Anupale who creates all the Zens. There's a lot of Zayas out there. He will be here Thursday live at 9 p.m. He will be here live with you, talking to you and bringing you all kind of crazy shenanigans. And I will be back with him on Friday. Wait for me here on Tuesday, next Tuesday, by myself with another professional with a different issue. I thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. I want to give shout out to all my friends that watch, my family members. My sister was on from Texas.
Oh, wow.
Thank
you so much for tuning in.
Everyone.
Like the page. Like the page and share with your friends. I love you guys for watching. Thank you.
Right.
Good night.
Good night. And press finish.
Yeah.
She loves for real.